Brother K here. I hope everyone's doing all right. I'm gonna do something a little different. We're gonna talk a little bit about something that I was looking at over the past few months, and I've watched it closely. And I feel like I would do a very big disservice not to make mention of it for others to hear. But I'm gonna take my time and get through it. All right, so let's look at the big picture first before I get into it. All right, I was looking at some stats, and it says in the United States alone, we saw 18,720 motor vehicle deaths in the first half of 2025. All right, that's 18,720 deaths in the first half. All right, so for those who can multiply, you multiply that times 2. It's a lot of deaths, right? And that's just motor vehicle. Right now, I'm going to focus on some of our, I guess this is for all the ages, for young people, college students, those of us who have kids who are first starting to drive. You know, this could be your big brother, your little brother, and even for the elderly, right? Some of us have parents that work multiple jobs. You know, all of us don't really come from money. And some of us work really hard, you know. I've experienced, and I'm just going to share a little bit. One of the fields that I've experienced is being a truck driver. And for many truck drivers, people have no idea how much sleep that a truck driver needs in order to stay awake and not kill people. You know, you're driving a 80,000 pounds fully loaded lethal machine. And there are many others who probably work in the medical profession. I myself went to school to be a medical assistant a long time ago. But people like my sister, who's in the medical field, and many other family members, y'all know what time it is. Y'all got to do them 12-hour shifts, wake up early in the morning, come home late. Some people's pulling the night shift. So motor vehicle deaths can be avoided. Let's just say it that way. And there's some technology that is available. And I think many of us need to pay attention as it develops and get better and better. But even right now, there's a thing called FSD. Currently, the latest version to date is 14.2.1. I need y'all to look it up. Do your research. Look it up on YouTube. See how well this technology have progressed over the years and see in what direction it's going. This is a technology that may save your mother's life, your father's life, your son or your daughter's life, or someone else in your family, a sibling, that friend that keeps getting seizures, right? Someone that have health conditions. So I'm gonna name 8 different reasons why we have to pay attention to this. All right. Number 1, fatigue-related crashes. 1 out of 5 fatal crashes, right, are related to a tired driver, right? Now, I've experienced falling asleep behind the wheel, right? I almost killed myself a couple of times because I was too stubborn to pull over and take a nap, right? It happens to many of us, and some of us are in denial. I've been in cars where the person who's driving is falling asleep and I had to stay awake to watch them. Hey, wake up, pull over. And they will not pull over. Okay, we've all been there. Many of us been into worse situations. Second, medical emergencies. Being behind the wheel, you catch a heart attack, a stroke, a seizure. You're a mother that's about to go into labor and unexpectedly you're on the highway. Oh, I'm in labor. What do you think gonna happen? So imagine with me these scenarios. A driver loses consciousness. You're on the highway, right? You're in the middle of driving, you lose consciousness. What you gonna do? Number 3, alcohol. It kills at least 10,000 people a year in the US, on the US roads, right? Now, this may not necessarily be you, but it could be someone else heading towards you, driving on the wrong side of the road. I remember one time I was driving back from Pennsylvania, and it was me and my cousin. And we were just talking, heading back from, I believe it was camp meeting. And I kid you not, we looked and we saw two sets of lights, one on the right side of the road, one on the other side of the road. Some guy drove on the wrong side I just gently pulled over. It's a good thing I looked. I looked right in time just to swerve right to the right side of the road, and boom, the driver drove right past. That would have been the end. If I was not focused, if I was a little bit more distracted, that would have been it. Right? And, this is around 4th of July weekend, and people are drunk. These things happen all the time and we take it for granted. Number 5, distracted driving. We pull out our phones, we check our phones, we drop the phone, we spill a drink, right? There's a spider in my car. Imagine all of the distraction scenarios that could have been handled differently in the past of your driving. Or someone in the family perhaps got into a really bad accident, because they wanted to reach for a French fry, right? Or they spilled some coffee in their lap. You can truly imagine all of the distraction scenario, people texting, answering a text, looking at the phone. All it takes is that split second, and that's it, right? Number 5, staying centered in the lane. I've seen many people, they are veering, they can't even keep a steady lane, right? They get nervous because they get next to a tractor trailer, right? Or they're trying to avoid a pothole and all types of stuff. Some people don't really keep a good center lane, You could be holding the wheel and sneeze, right? And that twitches the wheel. There's just so many scenarios that we take for granted. And you can imagine someone who's elderly, right? In your family. Or even when you were young, you're doing all types of stuff, hugging your girlfriend while you're driving. You know what I'm saying? Playing music, bopping your head to it, playing drums on the steering wheel. And for some others, even more stuff. But sometimes you could get yourself into a panic, overreacting, slippery conditions. And all it takes is for you to drift into somebody's lane, and that could be a major disaster. Number 6, night driving. Night driving accounts for over 50% of the fatalities. Even though fewer cars are on the road, according to Copilot, I looked it up, humans struggle with glare, darkness, and fatigue. I struggle with glare. I know there are people in my family that will not drive after sunset, right? Some of us got 20/75 vision. And some of us are almost next to damn near blind. But you can imagine all of the scenarios with night driving. That can be crazy. Sometimes it starts raining at night. You can barely see the lanes for some people. And in some conditions, for all people. Number 7, impaired drivers. You went to a wedding reception. You kind of toast the bride and the groom, and before you know it, you had a little bit too much to drink. You thought you were fine, but your impulses, your reaction, your responses are slower. Now, I could be talking about you personally, but I could also be talking about a family member that thinks that they're fine to go home. This may save their life. Last but most importantly, speed. Some of us, myself included, I was a speed demon. I can admit it. I used to love speeding. I used to love not being the last person on the highway. I like to be at least second place on the highway. I like to overtake everybody. And if I was to tell you some of the stuff that I did, I'd have to kill you. So I'm gonna just keep it brief. But many of us have, through the grace of God, made it past 21. And many of the young people that I know, many people I know have passed away in some form of aggressive driving. Let's just put it that way. But even for others, there's some of us that, you don't drive aggressive, but you love doing 80 on the highway. You never do 65. And if you see 75, you're going to do 90. And God forbid you ever see an 80 mile an hour speed limit, you're going to do 100. Some of us, we do 100 in a 40, 45. We got a fast car. It could do 0 to 60. Cars are getting faster now. And some cars could do 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. Back in the days, a fast car was 7 seconds to 60. Now that's a Toyota Corolla, right? A Prius could do that. Prius is maybe faster than that, right? A minivan could go faster than that. Now, cars are getting faster. And, you know, some of us, we love the thrill, the roller coaster ride. Anyway, point is, you know, consistently, speed does kill. And the faster you go, the higher you are at risk. And just to kind of give you some stats, it says speed is attributed to about 29% of all the traffic fatalities. That's a lot. I mean, when you do the math on that, that's almost over 1 out of 4 deaths is due to speeding related conditions. Someone didn't want to drive slow. Someone in the school zone, right? So what am I talking about? Whoever's watching this video, look up FSD, full self-driving. Now, there's currently one manufacturer, and it's Tesla, that is far ahead of any other manufacturer with this technology. All right. Now, we know that there are certain political and misinformation being distributed over the internet. So people have to do their own research. You know, don't just depend on one source. Keep looking over 5, 6, 7, 10 different sources so you could get a full picture of the technology. The same thing happened when the internet came out. And everybody thought the internet was the devil. You know, people thought, oh, I stay away from the internet. You know, I don't have no Facebook. But 10, 15 years later, everybody got a Facebook. Why? Because you realize that there are some importance to that technology. So look, man, I'm just stopping by because I've been looking at this thing and it's been popping up and it got my curiosity. So I looked further to make sure I'm not seeing wrong. And in another year or two, and even right now, I would start spreading the word to my friends and loved ones, especially those who fit any of those 8 categories, right? To either, and I wrote this down, those who like to speed, those who are in denial, and they like to drive being tired, those who need a designated driver because they get out of hand once in a while, those who can't drive straight. Some people just can't. They go from left to right. They can't keep a center lane. They panic when they're next to a tractor trailer. They have anxiety issues. They have health concerns. Those who are struggling with night driving. Those who are, you know, getting up in age. If my parents or grandparents can't drive and they're starting to get too old, look, y'all know what time it is. FSD 14.2.1. Now there's going to be more and more versions, just like your phone gets an update. You guys pay attention, because this may save lives. This might save your son or your daughter's life or your parents' life or someone with a medical condition. It could save a pregnant woman that's about to go into labor. And the list goes on and on. Y'all make sure y'all look it up. But that's it for now. I'm going to leave it right there. Just remember, whether you eat or drink or whatever it is that y'all do all to the glory of God. I'm going to leave it right there. Y'all do your own research. If y'all got any questions, comment below. We could talk about it. Let's continue to have these creative conversations. It's Brother K, and I'm out.
As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also follow us on Instagram for more content. Hey, we have plenty more to come. So until next time, have a great weekend.